Nothing in life is linear, and that includes our education and employment journey. Whether you earned your GED as an adult, decided a four-year college wasn't the right path for you, or you're looking to employ a talent pool of competent candidates eager to join the workforce, you've come to the right place. Join me for Education Unplugged, where I can talk to learners, educators, and employers looking to destigmatize the educational road less traveled. We're here to make a positive impact today and for generations to come. It only takes one person to invest and connect with a learner for their belief in themselves to transform the future. From test taker to change maker, we're here sharing the stories of people who have taken a non-traditional path to a better life. Welcome to our third episode of Education Unplugged. I am pleased to be here with Cia, who is with WithYouWithMe, who is the Chief Customer Officer for WithYouWithMe. And Cia, it's lovely to have you here today. We're excited about the conversation ahead. But before we get started, let me give everyone an overview of who is WithYouWithMe and why it's so pivotal to the GED organization. About a year ago, we created a partnership with WithYouWithMe, an organization founded in Australia, and really founded to make sure that those individuals out there looking to get in a career in technology had opportunity through training, through resources and access to resources that maybe they wouldn't have. And Cia has been so gracious in her partnership. And last week, if you listened to the episode, we had Roger, who completed his GED, earned his GED in a very short amount of time, went through the WithYouWithMe training, the free training program, and has been recently hired at GED Testing Service. So we love that Cia is with us today to give all of you an overview as to why we're partnering with WithYouWithMe, why, if you're out there listening and have thought about a career in technology, how this may fit exactly what you're looking for. And then most importantly, to talk to all of the employers out there who are looking for really talented resources and individuals who have earned their GED, who are looking for an employer to invest in their future and their well-being. And Cia can help explain all of this to you, along with myself, as to why WithYouWithMe is a really strong partnership and really prepares learners for a career in technology. So with that, Cia, I would love for them to hear a little bit about you, who you are, and then what you do at WithYouWithMe.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Vicki, and thanks for that great introduction. As you sort of said, this is a program that all of us at WithYouWithMe are so deeply passionate about. You mentioned I'm the Chief Customer Officer for WithYouWithMe. And what that means is I work closely with our customers and our users around the world to help them really come together and thrive. So for us at WithYouWithMe, we believe it's all about finding a way to align an individual's career aspirations with organizational needs so that both learners and employers can go on a really exciting mutual path to success. And it's a job I'm so passionate about, as you know, Vicki, because I really do think the traditional way the employment sector and ecosystem has run has kept really great people locked out of the workforce for far too long. You know, many people experience systemic hardship as a result of outdated and biased employment practices. People who don't have necessarily the right experience or college degrees or corporate connections are often overlooked for really great job opportunities, regardless of their potential or suitability for a role. And at the same time, as you mentioned, you have businesses who are struggling to find really talented, skilled candidates and build the diverse workforce that they need to kind of thrive in this day and age. So my job is all about bringing the two of those together so that both the GED learner, the individual, the employee, and the employer can thrive.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I listened to you, and this exactly what you said is exactly why we're in a partnership together, because the way that you and everyone at WithYouWithMe looks at the learner is exactly the same. It's how do we really show every learner that you may not even realize that you have the skills and the abilities to go into a career in technology. And a lot of times what happens is so many of our learners, they think, gosh, I love the idea of going into a career in technology, but it's intimidating, it's overwhelming. And oh, by the way, I don't have maybe family members or friends that are in a role in technology. So if you're out there and you're a GED learner and you're listening and you're saying, gosh, I really want to get started, what is your advice? So you come in through GED, you earn your GED. We find out that you've you've credentialed, and now it's an opportunity to say, what's next? So you enter the With You With Me system. And so tell everyone out there what they should expect.
Yeah, so basically, and you sort of hit the nail on the head, Vicki, we want individuals to understand that the skills and the potential they possess is more than enough to start building a career in the tech sector. So the way that our program works is we've taken an approach that's honed by the country's largest employer, which is the military. And it's this idea that if you find what someone is good at, you find their natural strengths, you can train someone to do anything. So we have a technology platform that does just that. It tests someone's cognitive abilities, learning preference, and psychometrics, so their cultural fit for an organization, to show them what they're going to really excel at. And then we match that to high demand careers, particularly in the tech sector, because we know that everyone is looking for technologists at the moment. And then we provide them with the training, the upskilling, to take them from no experience at all to being able to step into an entry-level role, or a tech apprenticeship, as we like to call it. And I think the great thing with this process in particular is, for the first time, individuals can start to get a really deep sense of why they can become a technologist. Because, as you said, if you've not done it before, you've not considered technology, or you don't have technologists in your family, it can sound quite daunting. You know, the idea of becoming a cyber analyst or a data analyst is something that is kind of shrouded in mystery for many people sometimes. But if you can understand what personal strengths you have, that means you might pick up aspects of that role quickly, then it's giving you that motivation and that self-belief to get started on the journey. And the other thing I think that's really great about the With You With Me program is we're there then to hold your hand the whole way through. You know, it is a social impact program, so you can access everything that we do for free. But we also have career success coaches who are working with our extraordinary network of employers. So they are on the front line of what jobs are there and what employers are looking for. And they'll coach you and they'll get you ready and they'll put you on the right training path. And when the time does come to interview for a role, they'll help you prepare for that too. So we have this idea called a technical capstone. It's essentially a technical demonstration. And the idea of that is, with our employers, we're trying to encourage them not to look at resumes when they're making the decision of who to hire, because the resume is what has kept so many people out of entering the corporate sector for so long. And it's that point I made earlier that, you know, traditionally, if you didn't have a college degree or if you didn't have previous experience in a role, that might have held you back. And we don't believe that should be the case. We believe that if you've grown the technical skills and you can demonstrate proficiency, then you should be able to step into a job. And that's what our career success coaches do. They kind of make that bridge between the learner who has learnt the skills, who has upskilled and motivated themselves along this journey, to the employer to say, give this individual a chance, see what they can do, and let's get them into work together.
Oh, it's so, you know, it's so, every time I talk with you or anyone with you, with me, you know, I think the thing that's so compelling for me is that if you're a learner out there listening and you're hearing, is this really for free? The answer is yes. This is a free training. And then, is there really a career success coach along the way? Yes, there's a career success coach that's helping you through the journey. We know that, again, life can get in the way. You may have children. You may be balancing a job. You may have another career, and maybe something in technology is interest to you. And so what I would tell you, and what you just heard from Cia, is that you have to believe that even though a career in technology feels overwhelming, and there's times that it's going to be difficult, and there's times that you're going to get stuck, the With You With Me model and the GED model is that there's someone along the journey for you. And so if you do get stuck, if you do have questions, if you do get frustrated because life's getting in the way, there's people here to support you. And ultimately, we all want you to be successful in the career that you want to go into. And also keep in mind that there's so many technology careers out there, that there may be a technical analyst, there may be something, maybe you aspire to be a developer. The bottom line is that this program is set up to really help meet you where you're at, meet you with the skills that you may not even realize that you have, and we see in you. And so I think for Cia, for you, you know, you've talked to lots of learners that have started the With You With Me program. You've heard anecdotal things that they've hit or maybe bumps along the way. And so for every learner out there listening right now, what would you say has been the most difficult part for someone that jumps into With You, With Me? And then how are you helping them overcome some of those obstacles along the way?
It's a great question, Vicki. I think the most difficult obstacle is initially that self-belief. So that feeling that they can be going from, working maybe in a restaurant or a cafe or anywhere, a shop, and this idea that can I actually step and work for a big corporate employer as part of their technology team? And I think, part of when we started out on this journey, what I really wanted to personally achieve was change the perception of GED learners, not only with employers, because I do think that employers need to understand that individuals who have graduated with their GED possess determination, grit, resilience, and all of these incredible qualities that you want in the workforce. But the other part of it is really changing the perception of GED learners in their own eyes and making sure that they understand that everything that they bring to the table makes them a valuable employee. And all they need to do is learn the practical skills to actually get them into a specific role. And you sort of mentioned it before, this idea that a lot of the time people have, multiple jobs on the go, or they have families. That's what makes someone great in the workforce, the ability to juggle priorities, the passion to be working for something. So I think for me, the biggest obstacle has been sort of a self-inflicted one for many individuals. And what's been really great, though, in overcoming that is this program has had extraordinary support from the educator community as well. And we know what an important role educators play in the lives of GED learners. These are the people who are guiding you from the front and teaching you every day and answering the questions, and having the opportunity to take the educators through what we're doing and have them believe in it has been a really important piece to having the individuals overcome that initial first step of fear. And, it takes me back to when we were, I think it was in Los Angeles last year, Vicki, and we had the wonderful Gregory Ladner from LA Community College come out with his students to one of our job fairs to basically learn about this program. And for me, that was so wonderful because so many individuals are scared to take that first step. They may not quite understand how it works. They may think it's too good to be true. And when you have an educator there who's there to hold their hand to take that first step, we just saw what the extraordinary response from that was. We had 30 students from his class. They were leaning in, they were engaged. I remember one of them said to me, it's just so rewarding, Cia, to have someone see us. I feel like no one ever looks, and it's just so great to have you see us. And I don't think they would have been in the room that day if it wasn't for their educator. And my hope is that we get more and more educators bringing people along on this journey, showing them that anything is possible. As Gregory says, it's just another tool in the toolkit. You may want to build a career in technology. You may just want to build some tech skills. It's another tool in your toolkit.
It's so good. And I love that you bring up the educator. It's such a good pivot, because what we know is that many of our GED learners are working with educators, and they may be in the classroom, they may be at home studying, but they know that they have an educator in their corner at all times. And we also know that GED, we work with over 70,000 educators across the US. And so what we know is that all of the educators also want all of the GED learners and graduates to be successful. And I think what we all recognize is that tech is not going away. With AI front and center in everything that we hear in the job market, we hear that companies are hiring technologists, each and every day as well. And so I think the thing for me with our GED learners is that it is going to be scary at times to jump into a career in technology. It is going to be overwhelming at times, but it's exactly what you said, is that the GED learners bring to the table the ability to juggle lots of life skills. Maybe you had challenges in K through 12. Maybe you dropped out of high school because you had to get a job. Maybe you decided that high school just really wasn't the way that you wanted to learn. All of those skills of resilience and overcoming obstacles are a absolute fit for going into a career in technology because things are coming at you, things are changing. And so the With You With Me platform really gives you the ability to take all of those life skills and now turn them into a career. And then it trains you on some of those specific technology, whether it's terminology or ways to think or ways to adapt in a technology-based world. So you kind of hit on it, but I think, we talked about maybe if I'm a learner in what are some of the struggles with You With Me, what are the things that you're hearing that students love about the platform? What is it that is surprising them and they're really engaged on that you want to share with everyone?
Yeah, look, I think the thing that the students love the most is this idea that it is something that is within reach and it's an easy step-by-step process. So they always start off, I think, with the assessment piece, and there's always that cool personal insight and learning, things you didn't know about yourself, whether that's your learning preference, so how might you learn best, or whether it's that, hey, you've got exactly what it takes to be a coder or to be an AI specialist or to be a business analyst. That's cool to hear that from the start and to be able to trace back as to why, because everything is based on your own personal assessment. So you start to get a really great picture and really great self-awareness of what makes you so special. And I think the other thing that's really great is that the program is completely self-paced. So there's no pressure to get it done as fast as you need to get it done. If you are looking to move quickly into a tech career, I've had people complete all of the training required in as little as 2 weeks, self-paced, after hours, whenever they want. But we also have people who kind of chip away at it over a year. They're doing their GED, they've got jobs, they've got families, and they know that in about a year or so's time, I'm going to be ready for that next thing. So they're kind of chipping away at it. So I think giving the individual the control to kind of do that is really great. And I think the other thing that is exciting is just that there are jobs there. This idea that there are employers out there who are looking for people just like you, and they are prepared to hire and to consider a different kind of candidate. And in fact, it's something they're actually seeking because they know that the traditional way of hiring is not working for them. They know that the kinds of technologists they're getting are either not available in market because there's too much demand, or they're not meeting the needs of the organisation in terms of representing the communities that the organisation represents. And I think that's the really important thing from a diversity perspective here as well, is recognising that, sometimes the corporate sector hasn't had the diversity that it needs, and that's actually putting businesses at a competitive risk, because we know that diversity breeds innovation. We know that particularly in technology, if you're building products or services, you want the individuals who are building those products and services to represent the communities that are using them for that user experience kind of piece. So not only is it great to be learning the skills, it's actually critically important. What every GED learner brings to an employer is a critically important ingredient that will make their workforce better. And I think once the individual starts to see that and starts to understand it, it's not just a pipe dream. It's something that they can actually see the pieces are all moving in together, and this could be a very real future for them that they never once thought possible.
Isn't that powerful to just really take that in and think about that? The power behind it, the investment in themselves, and then really the employer investing in that individual. And again, it's a responsibility of all of us as leaders of organization. But what a gift to tell an employee and a potential employee that I'm investing in you. And I realize and recognize the talent that you have. And I know maybe you don't have a history in technology. And I know maybe you didn't have people that were in your corner to teach you these skills, but I'm here to support you and invest in you because it's the right thing to do as a leader and as a part of society. And it's also investing in you, knowing that you have the potential to grow as an individual and in a career of technology.
Yeah, and that's, one of the key pieces that we do. I've kind of spoken about our assessments in terms of understanding your strengths and your ability to learn new skills. But the other aspect of the assessment process is understanding the cultural fit for an organisation, because you're absolutely right, Vicki. For an organisation, people are the most powerful and valuable asset. If you can get the right people and like-minded people in your organisation that align with your company's culture and your vision and your objectives, that's the hardest part. Skills can be taught. And that's the very premise of our program, which is that to be a technologist, you don't need to have gone to college for 4 years. You can learn these practical skills. They're changing every day. It's really important that people are constantly upskilling and getting new capabilities because the tech sector is moving so quickly. So the most important piece for a hire isn't necessarily the education or the upskilling that you've done, because that piece can be learned. It's who you are as an individual. What experiences do you bring to the table, and how can you contribute to a workplace and a workforce culture? And that is why I am so passionate about the GED learner, because these are individuals who, for whatever reason, a traditional K-12 education path has not worked the first time. And often it means they have this determination, this resilience, this motivation to build a better life. And these are these core traits that every employer is looking for. So if we can just add that extra little piece, which is the skills, that part's easy. We know we can teach skills. You can learn skills. It's the other stuff that gives you, as a GED learner and a GED graduate, that competitive advantage. You've got all of this extraordinary life experience, and we want to share that with employers.
No, yeah, I love the passion when you talk about the GED learner. And, you know, one of the things that we talked about when you and I first started and we started talking about With You, With Me partnership was the comparison of the GED learner to a man or woman that was a veteran. And so maybe you can talk to about those key attributes that you see when you originally started With You, With Me, really using this for the veterans. And now you see so many of those similar traits in a GED learner. Maybe you can talk about those traits and where there's parallels.
Absolutely. So With You, With Me was founded with this big vision of solving underemployment, which is when someone may be working but not in a job that meets their full potential. And we started off trying to solve underemployment in the veteran sector. Our founder, Tom, was a veteran who transitioned out of military, and like so many other veterans, when he went to go try and find work in the corporate sector, he was told that his skills weren't transferable and he didn't have the right corporate experience. And at that time, there was this digital skills crisis, which, of course, you know, we've been talking about here today. And we thought, if we can make veterans technologists, then we're giving them the keys to a future-proof career path. And that's exactly what we did. So the program started off in the veteran space, but we realized that it's not a program that's just limited, or a problem, I should say, that's just limited to veterans. It's a problem that is facing all sorts of underrepresented groups in society. And what I think proved to us that this was really a viable model that had enormous growth potential is the incredible success that these veterans had once they were placed into the workforce. You know, they learned the skills, as I said, but it wasn't until they were placed into employers that we started to get feedback from employers saying, this person is unlike any other technologist in our technology department. They have this incredible leadership, this incredible loyalty, camaraderie, all of these incredible character traits that veterans had picked up during their time in service that no one at the time had really thought to apply to the corporate sector, which is just crazy. And I think the same goes for the GED learner, but the same goes for all of the other underrepresented groups that we support as well. So you mentioned we were founded in Australia. We also have operations in North America, so the United States and Canada, as well as the United Kingdom. And we've grown to support an entire range of different underrepresented groups, from neurodiverse, so autism, ADHD, dyslexia. Women in tech is another really big area. You know, we look at many technology departments and there's not enough female representation. So we know the value that diversity and all of these different groups can bring from their life experience. And what has been so rewarding through this program is helping employers see that too.
You couldn't have actually taken a shift to exactly where we're headed, which is we have a really big meeting in a couple weeks and a really important discussion with key employers. And the conversation around that entire meeting is going to be around investing in those men and women in technology. It's also how organizations need to do away with the resume, which you and I have talked about, is that it's so important to look at what is the potential of every human out there and how do we give them the skills to be successful versus what's the experience that they're bringing to the table. So Cia, let's talk about the dinner that we have, and then let's talk about why every employer that's listening should listen and should play a role in the future of being at the table for how they can also invest into GED learners that have gone through this tech apprenticeship.
I love it, Vicki. This initiative excites me so much, as it is our direct line into corporate leaders across the country. So as you know, we are initiating a social impact initiative called 1000 Futures, and it's something that's been born from the GED Tech Apprenticeship Program that is all about bringing together like-minded, passionate leaders who can help us drive the scale of change that we need at that corporate level. So it's all about inspiring these business leaders to really lead from the front when it comes to creating a more inclusive and skilled workforce. And the idea behind the initiative is to level up the workforce by securing 1,000 meaningful employment opportunities in every major US city at leading organizations for our GED graduates. And we're starting in New York with a dinner where we have about 15 corporate leaders from some of the biggest companies based in New York. But we're not going to stop until we create 1,000 brighter futures in every US city. And I have been absolutely blown away by the response that this program is getting. You know, we have some of New York's most senior influential figures and biggest businesses who we're talking with who want to get on board and bring upskilled GED learners into their organization. And I think if we can just get a few forward-thinking enterprises to do this, it's how we start to shift the needle. And we're showing people that it's possible and starting to create that groundswell of support that's needed to really drive momentum. And for me, I just think for too long, GED learners have been sidelined from really lucrative areas of the nation's workforce. And there seems to be this idea that those who didn't follow a traditional K-12 education path, which we know at times is often impossible by life circumstance, the fact it continues to impact career opportunities and create a society where even those who are capable and motivated and conscientious are left behind is just unacceptable. So I'm really excited about the potential of the 1000 Futures initiative, in that I think it's what we can do to challenge this status quo and really bring in a future where anyone, regardless of their educational background or financial situation, can build those sought-after skills and step into a very impressive role at a very impressive organization.
Yeah, it's fascinating because when you and I started talking about this 1000 Futures, the vision is to say, why would an organization not sign up to be part of that? What would be the reason that me as a leader of an organization wouldn't want to be at the table to say, I have a need for underemployed men and women in careers in technology. I want to do what's right as a social responsibility. And then as leaders of organizations, it's our role and it's our duty to make sure that we are investing in the human capital side of society. And so, when I think about New York and, the 15 companies that we're starting with, the vision and the hope and the goal is to say, we're taking that to every state. Every state, every employer should want to be at the table, should be part of the conversation to say, what is it that we could be doing differently? How do we invest in GED learners maybe in a different way? And my wish of every employer out there that has needs for technology is to start seeing the learner through our eyes and through our lens. These are men and women who, again, have not had traditional paths for many reasons. We know GED learners have paths that says, I really couldn't concentrate in school because I had life circumstances that brought me away. Or really K through 12 didn't work for me, but I'm really smart and I'm really talented. I just didn't want to sit in that traditional way. So as an employer, as someone who's listening, how do I get involved in this? What do I do? Where do I go? And how do I get started? Because I want to be part of this 1000 Futures.
Yeah, beautiful. So I would say they should reach out directly to you or me through LinkedIn or come to our website, because obviously we're both very passionate about this and we want to guide people through from start to finish. I think the first step is the hardest step, which is that you're prepared to take a risk. So this is a different approach for an employer to many traditional paths. We've mentioned most organizations are caught up in the hiring pattern of, well, send me your resume. What previous experience do you have? What college did you go to? And what we're starting to see which is really great, is a shift that people realize that is no longer necessary, particularly for technology-based roles. And I think when you look across corporate America, there are so many great organizations now that don't require university degrees in the technology department, which is great. And I think that's the hardest part. Once you've got that institutional mind shift that we are prepared to look at something different, you can actually start to see and understand how this program is going to work in action. And I mentioned before, this is a program that we've done not just in the United States. We have employers hiring through us in the United States, but we're doing this all around the world, and we have been for the past 8 years. I think the difference that we're seeing now is that whereas once upon a time it was early adopters, big organizations were very innovative and thinking, yes, we want to try this. What we're now seeing is most organizations are shifting to a skills-based approach. They recognize that skills are the currency of the modern workforce. And if they want to be harnessing the right skills, they've got to think differently about how they're both building them within their own organization, but also bringing them in. And I think the process for us with employers is helping them understand where they can access those skills. So basically, for an employer, what we would do with this program is sit down to understand what roles or skills they might have, whether it's now or in the future. And then we would start to map that against our GED learner pool to be able to show them the kind of people that we know are important to them. So what kind of qualities and traits do they look for with their employee base? And match that with the skills. So sometimes we've had an instance where we may have a GED learner who has done 50% of their training. They haven't quite finished yet, but they seem like the perfect cultural fit for an organization. So we'll then work with that individual and the organization just to bridge the gap. There's just a few extra skills you have to learn. Here they are. And then the two come together at the end. And as I mentioned, I think a really important piece for the employer and the piece that kind of de-risks it all is that technical demonstration at the end. If someone can show you that they can do the practical tasks that are needed for a role, there is no reason why you would not feel confident bringing that person in. And it's really funny because that's not always been a part of the recruitment process. People haven't always had to do a technical demonstration. And that seems crazy to me, particularly in something like technology. If you can show someone you can do the job, you should get the job.
You should get the job. That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. And so in that same vein, so you have talked with many learners out there. You've seen them struggle through the training. You've seen successes through the training. Is there a particular learner story that sticks with you that you could talk about just to share the ins and outs of how the learners are perceiving and talking about this? Or maybe there's a learner out there that has just stuck with you for another reason.
Oh, there's so many, Vicki. There is one who I've met in New York just recently, Halima, who is quite extraordinary. She moved to the US from Belgium a few years ago, and she actually had a really great career in Belgium. She worked in politics, she worked in TV, but she came to the US and obviously was not able to just walk into a role without some kind of local education. So she did her GED. She also had a physical injury, which meant that she couldn't do a lot of jobs. So she thought, technology is probably going to be a great role for me. And she has been doing cyber security and cyber analytics through our program, which is really great. And I see someone like Halima, and she just seems like the perfect employee for many, many employers. And she's sitting there unable to find work. And that to me is crazy. So we're going to help Halima find a job, which is great. I know that you met Roger a couple of weeks ago, and his story really resonates with me for a very similar reason, in that he was trying to get a job, but he just couldn't. He couldn't find anyone to look at him. No one was taking notice. And through this program, he already had some great skills, but we were able to just top that up. And what the benefit for Roger was more so was the belief in this program that employers like GED had. So eventually, with the right mix of skills and experience, and with an employer who could really see the value, we were able to bring the two together, which was really great. And there's many, many other stories. There are so many inspiring GED learners who are going through our program. And to me, they're the ones, that's what inspires me in my job, Vicki. This idea that I'm in a position and our business is in a position to make a real difference, one life at a time, and to see individuals seize that opportunity with both hands and to do it. And it can be hard sometimes. It can be, learning new skills can be challenging, but they're seizing this opportunity with both hands, and they're putting belief in our business and in the GED to help them take that next step. And that for me is that's why I do what I do. This is, it's not every day that you get the chance to make a real difference in the work that you do. And what I love about this program is that we're making a difference in the life of the individual, but we're also making a difference in the future of the employer, because what we're doing is the perfect intersection for both employer and employee. And it's that point I made earlier, when you can get an individual's career aspirations to align with the objectives of a business, that's when both thrive. And that's what we need in our society moving forward. For our businesses to be successful and be the best they can be, they have to have employees that align with what they're doing. And upskilling is the answer to get there, and diversity of representation.
Yeah, this is exactly, Cia, why we love you, because you see the GED learner exactly the way that we do. And you see that, again, you have to pick your hard. It's hard to work in a job that you don't love. It's hard to go and get the training on a technology skill. It's hard to really put your focus in something that may be a struggle, but you have to pick your hard. You have to choose your hard. Sitting in a career that you're not happy with, that you can't advance is also difficult. So what we're trying to say here is that pick your hard, but we're here to support you. It should be hard, because if you want a career in technology, if you want a career that's really going to push you and grow you as an individual, it should be difficult, because it means it's worth it. And it means that you're going to put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. It means that you're going to have something to really look back on and be proud of yourself. And again, I think what you heard today is that With You, With Me is here to support you. Everyone at the GED organization is here to support you. All of the educators across the country are also here to support you. And now what we're asking is that we get all employers out there as well to support those individuals that want a career in technology and want an employer to invest in them and really help them move their career path in a technology role that, again, maybe they never dreamed of. So, Cia, I'm going to give you the last word and have you say whatever maybe that we haven't covered that you want everyone to know about With You, With Me, and you want every learner to hear.
It's always hard just to sum it up in a few words, Vicki, but I think I will just reiterate the last point I want to leave people with, and it's for anyone listening to the podcast, whether that is a GED learner, an educator, or perhaps an employer who is looking to make a difference, and that is that it's never too late to rewrite history. And just because your life has been a certain way up until now doesn't mean that that's what it needs to look like tomorrow. We can reinvent ourselves, we can build better lives, and the golden ticket for doing that is education and skilling. Get your GED, but don't stop there. Arm yourself with the kind of skills you need to be successful in the digital age, and it will open doors you never knew existed. And if you want a hand in that process, obviously contact me. And for business leaders, employers, organizations, I think just because we're used to hiring a certain kind of candidate doesn't mean that that is always the best candidate or the right candidate. The workplace and the workforce is changing, and we can't bank on building successful organizations that are filled with the same people from the same college degree or background. Diversity is not only the right thing from a societal perspective, it's critical for competitive advantage. And we need workforces that represent all the communities our businesses support. And to do that, you need to change the way that you're thinking. Hire for skills, take a chance on someone with the potential to be great, and we can start writing a brighter next chapter together.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Cia. As always, it's a pleasure to work side by side with you on a mission that is critical to all of us out there looking to make a difference in the lives of millions of folks. And thank you to Cia, not only for your investment into the GED learner, but to also all the employers out there. Cia and I are passionate about this. Become part of the 1,000 Futures. We're going to take it on the road, and we're looking for all and every employer that's looking and willing to take a chance and invest in a GED learner. So thank you again for your time, for your energy, your passion, and your belief in the GED learner. And I'll leave it with, please do reach out to us if you have any questions or comments on With You, With Me. And also, please invest, be the one person that invests in someone's future and be the one person that untaps the potential of the GED learners out there. And if you're a GED learner, be the one person that motivates another person to go earn their GED. Thank you again for joining Education Unplugged. And please join us next week, where we will have a large employer of GEDs, Miss Debbie Rawlings from KFC, who will come in and talk about the GED Works program that's offered through KFC. Thanks again for joining, and have a good day.